Today's video is gonna be about Apollo, the handsome god of archery and light, music and poetry, prophecy and truth, healing and plagues. He was the son of Zeus, king of the Olympians, and Leto, goddess of motherhood and the daughter of the Titans. Apollo had a twin sister, Artemis, with whom he was born on the island of Delos. It was the only island that would allow their mother to give birth, since Hera, the queen of the Olympians and wife of Zeus, forbade the birth to take place on Earth or anywhere the sun shone. But thanks to Apollo's uncle, Poseidon, the god of the sea, who revealed it after it had been covered with water. But in rage, Hera sent a large gruesome python to hunt Leto, which was one of the most fearsome creatures to ever exist. After settling on the island, Leto finally found shelter, and only then was she able to give birth to her children. And after some time, and thanks to a diet of nectar and ambrosia, the food of the Olympians, Apollo went from a baby to a full grown-up god in one day. In merely 4 days, Apollo became strong when Zeus his father gave him and his sister 2 powerful bows with deadly arrows crafted especially for them by Hephaestus, the craftsman of gods. Artemis liked the gift and spent most of her life hunting, to become later on the goddess of the hunt. And for Apollo, it was the right time to use the bow for bringing vengeance upon the dragon Python that excruciated his mother for a long time. Long before he was chased by Apollo, the Python happens to leave the place in which he inhabited and went to the oracle of Gaia at Delphi. And there, the unforgettable battle will be taking place, and eventually, the snake was killed. After cleansing himself as Zeus asked him to, Apollo returned to the shrine to make it his own. And since he's the god of prophecy and predicting the future, that temple was the place where mortals could ask him questions about their fate, and he, mighty god of the oracle, spoke through his priest Pythia, answers them. Although Pythia's answers would be so obscure and ambiguous that the priest would have to interpret them. In that way, mortals got the benefit of Apollo's wisdom. Since killing that terrifying monster and setting the temple, that was what a typical day for Apollo looks like, until one day, his heart was pierced with a golden arrow by the naughty god of love, Eros, whom Apollo always teased for his weak archery skills, and had him fall in love madly with the nymph Daphne. But little did he know that Eros had already shot his beloved with a lead arrow to render her insensible to love. However, Apollo's love for Daphne grew, until one day he reached toward her. The disgusted nymph hurled to her father, the river god, to seek help, when he heard his daughter's cries, and in a blink of an eye, Daphne was returned into a magnificent laurel tree. At that moment, the broken-hearted Apollo swore that he will always love her, and to prove it, he wore a laurel wreath on his head for the rest of his life. Thereafter, the laurel wreath became the symbol of chastity and glory. The archer god Apollo and his sister Artemis invented hunting. Did you know that? If you did not know, just ask Niobe, the mortal who boasted that she was equal to Leto, their mother, because she had given birth to many children, while Leto only had 2. And what a big mistake had she committed, because Apollo and Artemis took up for their mom by killing all 14 of Niobe's children, and ended up turning into a rock by Zeus to put her out of her misery. But even that didn't stop her from crying. Out of the river came Achilles, or I don't know how to pronounce it. It's a stream fed by her ceaseless tears, to become later on the symbol of eternal mourning. The stone is said to weep even to this day. I bet no one dared to mess up with Apollo's mother ever again. During the Trojan War, an elderly priest of Apollo got insulted by the commander-in-chief for the Greeks. When Apollo heard the old man's prayers asking him to make the Greeks pay for what their commander had done to him, Apollo couldn't neglect him, and also it was the right time to use his skill of archery to show his power over sickness and healing. and in 9 days, Apollo came down from Mount Olympus to shoot poison arrows at the men in the Greek camp, infecting them with a plague. These are, my friends, some of the stories about the far-shooting god Apollo, mostly taken by one of the ancient Greek sources on Apollo, the Iliad and the Odyssey by Homer. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video and see you in another one, maybe.